Hello and welcome back to Froch on Fighting. I'm Carl the Cobra Froch, MBE, as you already know, former unified world boxing champion. I know some of you love this. You're buzzing off me, keep reminding you. And International Boxing Hall of Famer. This episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. Right, so it's a big weekend of boxing. There's some fantastic fights on the undercard, but none better than the main event. Beterbiev, Bivol, and we'll get straight into it. So, Beterbiev, Bivol. Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, both unbeaten. Bivol, I think, 23-0, unbeaten. I think 11-12. He doesn't rely on his punching power. He's not got a high knockout ratio like Beterbiev. 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 by way of El Sparko. I mean, this guy is just... he's an unstoppable force. Or is he the immovable object? Because for me, this is like the unstoppable force against the immovable object. Something's got to give. And I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what's going to give. My boxing brain tells me that Bivol is probably a slight favourite. But Beterbiev punches so hard. Everybody he's fought, he irons out. 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 KOs, as I've already said. He has been on the floor. Remember Callum Johnson put him over. I used to spar with Callum Johnson myself. So he can punch a little bit. He didn't test the whiskers of the Cobra. He did catch me, but I was all right. I just shoulder rolled it. But he can bang, and he had Beterbiev on the floor, but he got up to win and stop Johnson in emphatic fashion. So I just think the punching power of Beterbiev, if he gets to Bivol, it's going to be a trouble. It's going to be a problem for Bivol. But Bivol's a mover. He's fast and light on his feet. He's got a great jab, a really good boxing brain. Both these guys were on the Russian boxing team. They've sparred each other. They know a little bit about each other already. So when they get in there, it's not sort of unknown territory. But from a boxing perspective, it's such an exciting fight because I don't see how either of these guys can lose. I can never see Bivol getting beat. Don't forget, he had that fantastic win against Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people thought, the people in the industry thought he could win, but most people thought that he couldn't win that. I don't know if he was the favourite going in. Everyone expects Canelo to do the job. And he didn't just beat Canelo, he almost made it look easy. I don't want to disrespect Canelo by no stretch, but he did make it look easy and he got that win. Obviously, Beterbiev's unbeaten. We've seen him in there with Johnson. He's been on the floor, got up to win. Seen him in there with Callum Smith. I mentioned it last week. Also, Anthony Yard. I mean, that was a great win. Yard put it on him. Yard having his moments of success, having his rounds of success, but eventually Beterbiev gets to his opponent. The punching powers, it's clumping and thudding. He doesn't look like he's sitting down on his punches that hard. He doesn't look like he bangs that hard. But when the punch lands, it's almost bone-crushing power. And you see the effect. So what's going to happen as and when he connects on Bivol's chin? So I think what Bivol needs to do is, Bivol's going to have to stay out the way of that power for 12 rounds. Can he do it? Of course he can do it. He's got fast hands. He throws 3s and 4 punch combinations rather than 1s and 2s. He's busier. He's light on his feet. Very, very good footwork. He knows where he is in the ring. Great ring craftsmanship, should I say. He knows exactly where he is at every point in that ring. He'll keep himself out of the corners. He'll keep himself off the ropes. He won't go back and forward in straight lines. He'll turn and create angles and pick his shots in combinations. And Beterbiev does get caught. He does get hit with shots, as we've seen. But the question is, can Bivol stay out of the way for 36 minutes? 12 3-minute rounds to keep out the way of somebody who's backing you up and's got one thing on his mind, and that's punching you in the face with a big hard right hand on the top of the head or a left hook. That left hook's crushing. Even the body shots are hard from Beterbiev. I mean, this is a fight where really it's going to be so difficult to pick a winner. My head says that Bivol will box and move, and if this fight goes the distance, probably win it on points by quite a nice margin. But if this fight goes early, it's probably only going to go to one man, and that's going to be Beterbiev because he punches so hard. But I just can't envisage Bivol getting chinned or getting knocked out. These both fighters, they're both Russian. There's a bit of a language barrier, so this fight's probably not captured the public's imagination like you'd like it to as a boxing fan. In the industry, boxing fans and boxing purists are absolutely raving about this fight, really looking forward to it. I mean, I said yesterday I was licking my lips, and what I meant by that was I just can't wait for this fight to start. Properly looking forward to it. Real industry fight. But I think the language barrier and the fact that Beterbiev doesn't really speak or say much, it just makes it difficult to sort of warm to him. But like I said, they're both Russian. They know each other from the Russian team, but they just want to fight, and they're going to give us an unbelievable night of boxing. Can't wait. And yeah, before I move on, I just want to point out something. Beterbiev was doing a strange little, well, not that strange, but everybody's talking about it. It's kind of gone viral on the internet. He's doing push-ups and he's bouncing from his fingers onto his knuckles, onto his back of his wrists, which to be honest, I've never done them bounced onto the back of the wrist, but I used to do the knuckles and the finger presses. It basically strengthens your tendons, strengthens all your ligaments in your hands, and obviously you need solid hands and ligaments when you're boxing because they get injured. But I don't know why this has gone so big and so viral. The Cobra used to do them for breakfast. It's no big deal. So I know what you're thinking. The Cobra hasn't given a prediction yet, so I'm going to give you a prediction. Don't worry. Right. I think Bivol is going to do the business. I just think Father Time waits for no one. Beterbiev is pushing 40 years old. He's in his 40th year, 39 years old. And I know what it's like to feel 39, 40. I don't know what it's like to box at that age because I retired approaching my 37th birthday. And I was fit and strong and a real clean liver. I was always eating and drinking clean. So I was in good shape mentally and physically when I retired. Bivol, he's 33 years old. When I was 33, I was in my prime. I felt fit, strong. I felt full of energy. I think I was probably peaking at 31, 32, 33. Came into my own at that sort of age. So if I'm just going on myself physiologically and where my mind was, at 33, a 33-year-old Bivol, I would expect to probably outwork and outlast an almost 40-year-old Beterbiev in a close. It's going to be a close fight because Beterbiev is not going to stop trying. He's going to keep coming forward. He's going to keep throwing big bombs. But if I was having a big wedge, dropping a big chunk of bunts on the bet, I'd say Bivol to beat Beterbiev on points. But there's always a chance he could get ironed out. But we know that. It's boxing. And Beterbiev's a massive puncher. But my pick is Bivol. So moving away from the main event, we've got Chris Eubank against Kamil Szeremeta. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. has only had 4 fights in the last 3 years. One of them was getting ironed out to Liam Smith. I know he avenged the defeat in pretty good style, to be fair to him. But this is another fight really for Eubank Jr. to sort of pretend he still wants to fight. He's over in Saudi now, isn't he? Getting the old bunts, he's got himself in there. He had all the gear on, didn't he? All the gear, no idea. He looked the part out in Saudi the other day on his little light workout. But Szeremeta, okay, he's on a 6-fight winning streak, so that sort of goes in his favour. But in all honesty, Chris Eubank Jr. should be doing the business against this guy, and he should be doing it in style. I feel like he don't really want to fight anybody. He obviously wants the Conor Benn fight. He wants the payday. He wants the money, which is obviously why he's out in Saudi still making noise. He's with Ben Shalom, who's with Boxer and Sky Sports, and obviously going to try and do something with him at the end of his career. Maybe get a couple of wins, and then hopefully get that Conor Benn fight, because that would be a massive fight if and when, or as and when that happens. But for now, for me, Chris Eubank Jr. really, he's pretending to be a professional fighter. I don't want to give him stick. I love him. I love the way he speaks the truth and he's honest. And did you hear him at that press conference? I'm sure you did. It was just absolutely brilliant, albeit he retracted it. He went up and then he came back down straight away in the Cobra's estimations. If you're going to say something, stand by it, dig your heels in. Stand by your conviction. But I understand what he's up to. He's trying to get paid. But yeah, this for me is, you're going to watch it because it's Chris Eubank Jr., but it's nothing to get excited about. Yeah, it got picked up as well, didn't it? Old Hills and Bricktop were sitting ringside on the phones, looking down at the phones when Chris Eubank Jr. was working out. They're obviously still really pissed off about the full roasting that they got, courtesy of the Eubank Jr. maestro. Another fight on the undercard is one that I'm really looking forward to. Fabio Wardley, Frazer, Clarke. I mean, they fought the first time. That was in England. It was in a packed arena. The atmosphere was electric. And I'm hoping that because this fight's in Saudi Arabia, it doesn't have a negative effect. Because if the atmosphere is not there for these two, I think these big heavyweights, they fed off the crowd in that first fight. Wardley and Clarke, I mean, Frazer Clarke, let's start with him. Olympic bronze medalist in Tokyo. He's got bags of amateur experience. And on the opposing side to that is Fabio Wardley, who's a white-collar fighter. No amateur experience at all. But he's got skills, he's got movement, he's light on his feet. For a big lump, he can box and move and throw combination punches. Clarke got to him early on in that fight, even though he was on the floor himself and climbed up to to get a draw. I think Wardley got a point deducted. Clarke was over. It was a messy fight, but Fabio Wardley did get his nose busted up quite early. I think that affected him negatively. So in this rematch, I just think the guy that's the fittest is going to be the guy that's going to get the nod, because I just think they're so evenly matched. It's such a close fight. It's the one that's going to be throwing punches down the straight. I don't think either of them are going to get knocked out, but it's a fight that I think, like I said, needs a crowd, and it needs both these fighters to be fit and full of energy, which I'm sure they both will be. But it's an exciting fight that I'm really looking forward to. And if I had to pick a winner, I'd probably go for Frazer Clarke, because I had him winning the first one. I thought he was unlucky. He just edged it, and I think he'll keep his boxing skills and his educated amateur experience behind his guard and his head movement, and just do the fundamentals and the basics a little bit better than Wardley, and I think that will see him through to a tidy points verdict. But this fight is exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Another one that I cannot wait for. So another fight on the undercard, Opetaia against Jack Massey. I just think that Jack Massey's out of his depth in this fight. Shout out to his trainer Joe Gallagher. I've got a lot of respect for these fighters at sort of this level. He did step up, didn't he, and fought Joseph Parker. I don't know, it's a bit of a strange one. Stepped up to heavyweight and got beat by Parker. But Isaac Chamberlain, he beat Isaac Chamberlain. That was a good win for him. But he's in and around that level. And I just think Opetaia is world level. He's a class quality fighter. He's the future of cruiserweight. Current lineal champion. He's a world champion. And I would love to see that fight against Usyk. I mean, Usyk probably would have taught him a lesson, because he's just an unbelievable fighter. But that would have been a fight that you get excited for. But anyway, I'm hoping that Jack Massey goes in there, does himself proud. But I'm making Opetaia a massive, strong favourite, as I'm sure everybody is. And let's not forget about the all-female fight between Skye Nicolson and Raven Chapman. Skye Nicolson defends a WBC title against Raven Chapman out in Saudi Arabia. Some people are making a big deal about it because it's out there, but we've had women's boxing in Britain for years. It's been flying. Look at what Katie Taylor's done. We've had some great fights with some unbelievable fighting women, and we've enjoyed it. So just pipe down about it all. It's no big deal. Just get on with it. Anyway, I'm expecting Skye Nicolson to do the business, defend the title, and onwards and upwards for her. And finally, on the undercard, you've got Ben Whittaker taking on Liam Cameron. And it's another building fight for Ben Whittaker, but it's a chance for him to showcase his skills out in Saudi Arabia. It's an opportunity for him to really show the Saudis a bit of showmanship, because they've not really seen that, have they? And Ben Whittaker, he's got that Prince Nassim-esque about him. He's a showman. He does the shuffle. He drops his guard. He goads his opponent. He winds his shots up. Sometimes it's a bit too much, and some people don't like it. It's a bit too strong, but I like it. I used to like the Prince Nassim Hamid showman side of him. I mean, it was mega. He was leading the way. He was ahead of his time, what he was doing back then. But yeah, this is a chance for Ben Whittaker to get the job done in style. Nothing against Liam Cameron at all. Good little fighter. He's going to come, he's going to try. But unfortunately, with Ben Whittaker, who's an Olympic silver medalist and a really good prospect, excellent prospect, I just think he's going to be well out of his depth. So that's it for another episode of Froch on Fighting. I just wanted to give you my take on the big fights in Saudi. The Bivol Beterbiev, can't wait for that one. The undercard's pretty stacked as well, as you've seen. And I'll be doing a reaction video on Sunday following the big fight against Beterbiev and Bivol. You'll get my take on how it went and what I thought and what next for both these guys. This could actually be towards the end of Beterbiev's career. He's pushing 40 years old now. But yeah, can't wait for that one. So don't forget, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, like, share this video. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Because when I put this response video out on Sunday morning, you're not going to want to miss it, are you? You're going to want to wake up Sunday morning, have a look at the Cobra's face and listen to what I've got to say. Get on Spotify, get on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a 5-star review and rating, much appreciated. And I'll see you next time.